If you have not attended one of our live sessions before, just a little bit of advice so you get the most out of this session. We're going to share our screen a bunch and we'll have a deck. We'll send out that deck in a recording afterwards, so don't feel like you need to take notes the whole time. You'll get those materials as well as that recording. We love your questions. They help us figure out what you want to know, and also we have staff on hand to answer those questions directly. If you give a case that's too specific, we might not be able to answer it live. A lot of things kind of depend. So if you can keep your questions a bit more general, we will be able to answer you a little faster. If you ask a really detailed question and you're in the application funnel already, just leave your email address as well in case we need to get back to you if it's a really specific question about your case. And then last, at the very bottom of your screen, you will see the Q&A function. That is where, people are already using it. Fantastic. So go ahead and drop your questions in there anytime. You can ask as many as you'd like. Towards the end of the session, definitely leave an email address if you haven't gotten a response. We want to get back to you. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I think I gave people plenty of time to join the link. Hi there, my name is Claire Allman. I'm an associate director of marketing here at MPOWER. And I've been here a little over 6 years, which is crazy seeing how much we've grown. And I've been working with these wonderful people here. And something that's really always impressed me about MPOWER is that it's a company of former international students on a mission to make future international students have the best experience possible while also achieving their dreams. A lot of us struggled because MPOWER didn't exist when we were going to school. And now that we're an option, we are really excited to present it to you because we know we're the best loan product for national students, and we're here to convince you as well. So I'm going to send out a quick poll to everyone to figure out a little bit more about you. And while you're figuring that out, our panelists here are going to introduce themselves before we get started. So give me a second. I'm going to send out that poll. It is launching. Fantastic. And so Silver, let's start with you. Do you mind introducing yourself for our group today?
Hi, everyone. My name is Silver Yang. I'm the marketing manager of MPOWER Financing. I came to study in the US about 8 years ago from China. And since then, I have been living here. I got a job after I graduated. So I'm really happy to be here to introduce MPOWER to you and answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Silver. And then over to you, Ron.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is Ron. I've been on a bunch of webinars so far. And so a little bit about me. So I've been working at MPOWER for around 6 to 7 years now. I'm a lead in the underwriting team. And I'm also a former international student. I actually came to the US back in 2015. And I graduated in 2017. And I've been working with MPOWER since then. So yeah, it's been a long time. And glad to be here. Excited to help answer all your questions that you guys may have today.
Awesome. And then last but not least, Saria, why don't you introduce yourselves for our group?
Sure. Thanks, Claire. So my name is Suryaveer, and I am a senior relationship manager here in customer relation. Primarily, my role and responsibility is to maintain and strengthen the relationship between the borrowers, the applicants, which you guys are. And I have been with MPOWER for almost 2 years now, and I'm thrilled to be here today and want to share my expertise of the process with you guys, and also want to learn about the experience from you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So this is your last 5 seconds to answer the poll. I bet at the end of my sentence, about 5 seconds will have passed, and I am going to close it right now and share the results as well. Great. So mostly we have a lot of people from Africa. That is always fantastic. A lot of our top countries that we support are actually in Africa, so always great to see you. And then South and Southeast Asia are close runner-up, followed by East Asia, no one from the Pacific, and then some Europe and some Middle East as well. Great to have everyone. Oh, I need to scroll down. How embarrassing. We also have a nice population from North America and South America. It's great to have everyone. Ooh, and then in terms of where you are in the student journey, 23% are still exploring studying and haven't, or they're thinking about studying, so you haven't quite started the journey. 26% have applied to school but haven't yet heard back about their admittance. 43% have been accepted to school. Quick snaps or claps, congratulations. I know that's a big deal, being accepted. And so we'd love to celebrate with you. And then the last 8% are currently enrolled in their new country, probably living their dreams. great to have everyone. We'll make sure to cover content that's relevant for all of you to make sure everyone gets a lot out of this session. And of course, the most important question, clearly, what is your dream vacation? And so, okay, I don't think there's I guess there's sort of a clear winner, but 30% go sunny coastline, good 21% snowy mountains, 14% quiet forest, and then 35% cultured city. I guess the adjectives really make a difference. Like what would like a non-snowy mountain or like a loud forest? Anyway, I would totally go with quiet forest. That sounds lovely. Team, I just have to know, what's your answer to this question, Silver?
I think for the people who join this webinar today, that if you will become international students in the US, we have it all. We have sunny coastline in the West, we have snowy mountain, we have quiet forest, and we have culture city. But if it's me, I think I'll probably choose culture city because I'm a foodie and I will need to be near food. Yes, that's my answer.
I see that Washington, D.C. is a good home for you. So Ron, what's your answer?
Yeah, this is the easiest question I have to answer. For me, it's always sunny coastline. All of my vacations have always been to like summer coastline place. So yeah, easy.
Nice. And last, Sir Revere, what is your answer to this very essential question?
Yeah, I've been never to US, but yeah, I usually like visiting the forest areas. So being near to nature and mountains is the place I like to go.
Yes, Team Forest, represent. Also, I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to dive into the content you came for. So just to get started, I'm going to start with Silver, who's going to talk a little bit more about what we do at a high level, the options we offer, and some of the services in addition to the loan. Next, Ron is going to talk about the return on investment of a degree. We hear a lot of people get nervous. It's a big decision. And so we're here to explain more about that customer journey to the US and what it looks like in terms of a loan. And then last, we have the application walkthrough, which Sir Revere is going to take us through towards the end. And then we'll save the last bit of time just to answer your questions live. So if we get a lot of the same question, we'll definitely cover it towards the end of the session. So digging in, Silver, I'm going to turn it over to you. And can you briefly introduce MPOWER for everyone, particularly the people that are new to our company?
Sure. So for those who may not be familiar with our company, MPOWER is a public benefit corporation that we dedicated to offering financial support for international students pursuing a bachelor or higher degree in the US and Canada. We have nearly a decade of experience in the study abroad industry and the student loan industry. So what makes us different is that we specialize in providing student loans without the need for a cosigner or collateral. Why we can do this is because instead of focusing on your past financial history or your family's financial situation, that we evaluate your future earning potential based on your academic performance, for example, your GPA score, your English test score, your standardized test score to approve your loans. That's a brief introduction.
Yeah, thanks, Silver. And so let's go another level deeper. What makes our loan product a great option for international students, if not the best, which I believe it is?
What makes us best? First off is that we are different from banks and traditional lenders, that our loan, as I just said, we don't require a cosigner and collateral, which means that you can apply for a loan all by yourself. And this is the first feature that makes us stand out from other lenders. And the second one, oh, actually, sorry, I forgot to share my screen.
You are forgiven. I
just remember I actually do prepare a slide for this part to make you easier to understand. But as I go, I just forgot I have that. Yeah, so on the left side, you can see that we do not require cosigner or collateral. And the second feature is that our loan is fixed interest rate. We are the only company in the world that provides fixed interest rates to international students without a cosigner. And this is very good because interest rate means your rate remains the same throughout the entire time while you repay the loan. Even if the global interest rate increase, your rate won't increase. So this makes your financial planning very easy since your payment will not change over the long term. And the third thing that makes us the best is that our loan is funded in US dollar and we disperse the loan directly to your school. Funding a loan in US dollar helps to protect you from inflation and changes in foreign currency value.
Thank you, Silver. So people might want to know, I imagine, if they're eligible for our MPOWER loan. Can you tell us what the eligibility requirements are, or another way, can you help people understand if they qualify or not?
Sure. So you may qualify for our loan if you are an undergraduate students or graduate students looking for pursue higher education in the US or Canada. You also need to be, this is the immigration standard, that you need to be international student or DACA recipient or US citizen or refugee or asylum seeker, basically that we support many different immigration status. And another thing is that you need to be within 2 years of graduating or about to begin a 1 to 2 year program. Means that if you are going to use a loan to fund your undergraduate degree, usually undergraduate degree takes 4 years. So our loan can be used to fund the last 2 years of your undergrads. So if you are going to use a loan to fund your master degree, which usually takes 1 to 2 years length, and you can use our loan to cover it all. And the third criteria is that you need to be admitted or attending one of our 400 eligible schools in the US or Canada. And if you're not sure our school list, go to our website and check your support schools. We have a list and it's very easy for you to check.
Fantastic. And last question, Silver, before we move on to Ron. Can you describe the other awesome things we do that aren't just the loan and the ways we support international students more generally?
Sure. So as a public benefit corporation, that we are actually committed to helping students in any way possible. To do that, we do offer several fantastic programs to help you succeed in your study and also your career after you graduate overseas. And first one I want to mention from left to right on this slide is that first we have this refer a friend program, which is really awesome because if you refer a friend to apply for MPOWER loan, you will receive a $300 reward when your friend accepts their loan offer. And your friend will also get a $100 reward after their loan disbursement. So it's a win-win situation between you and your friend. Both of you can earn cash from us. To ensure you get the $300 referral rewards, please go to our website's refer a friend page. Actually, I think our chat moderator probably already sent the link in the chat box. So go to our refer a friend webpage to create your unique referral link or referral code and have your friend start their application using your referral link or mention your code in their application. In that case, that we can track you both. You do not need to be an MPOWER customer to refer a friend. There's no limit on how many friends can you refer. You can refer as many as you want and earn as many cash rewards you want. And the second program that we offer is a merit-based scholarship program. We offer 6 scholarship programs to our customers. They're only for international students, and the rewards can be up to $10,000 per reward. Every month that we also host contests that rewards $4,000 in scholarship prizes. To apply that, again, you do not need to be an MPOWER customer to apply this, but you need to be accepted or enrolled in one of our 400 plus support schools and have a valid visa, because only in that case we can be able to fund the scholarship to your account in your school. And the application process, I just talked a bit about it. It's very simple. Just go to our scholarship page. Chat moderator maybe send a link in the chat box and fill out a short application. And if you're the chosen one, we will bring the news through email to you. And for the specific criteria for each scholarship, you can go to the scholarship page to read it out. And the third but not the last fantastic program we have is a P2S, Path to Success program. This is designed to support your career development. To be eligible for this, different from the other two programs, you need to be an MPOWER loan customer to join this program. And it's a complimentary, it's free for you. And if you join this program, we will offer you one-on-one consultation for your career development. We'll help you to improve your resume, your cover letter, and then we will even help you to do mock interview. Okay, so those are the three awesome programs that we offer.
Thank you so much, Silver. And I'm going to have you stop sharing your screen because Ron is about to take us through something I think a lot of people just want more insight for before they take out a loan, which is the return on investment of this decision. And so Ron's going to walk you through sort of what the number looks like in a numbers basis. And then we'll move on to that application walkthrough. So over to you, Ron.
Sure. So before I actually share my screen, I wanted to give you a little background about the person. So this person, we are going to assume this person is from India and she currently works somewhere in India, and she's kind of deciding if she should come to the US to do her master's or if she should continue staying in her home country and just continue on the job or career path that she's on. So with that, a little bit of background out of the way, let me share my screen. Okay, so in this example, Asha is a junior data analyst and she's currently working in India, making around $7,000 a year. And but she wants to take her career to the next level. She can either do that in one of two ways. One can be staying back in her home country and trying to get a promotion. The second one will be to kind of upskill herself by getting a master's degree or some sort of degree and then finding a new job after she completes that degree. So let's look at both scenarios here in this example. The second part, the first scenario that I described is not on this example. I'm just going to walk you through it really quickly. So say she doesn't change, say she doesn't go to the US, she just stays in her current job and she continues the way she's doing. Say she gets around maybe a 10% raise every year or maybe a 15% raise every year. So I would say her salary would maybe go up to probably $10,000 at the end of 2025. So that's kind of the baseline that we're doing. And now look at the other example where she actually made the decision to go to the US and do her master's degree. So she got admitted to a master's degree in computer science. And she has a decent amount of savings. So she has around $15,000 in savings and scholarships. But she doesn't have any other funds to kind of fund her education. So say she decides to take out an MPOWER loan or any other loan for $40,000, and that's enough to kind of cover her entire tuition. So it would be 15,000 plus 40,000, which is around 55,000, which is pretty much the cost of a one-year computer science program in the US. But that program takes 2 years. When she graduates in 2025, she gets her work authorization. She struggles for a little bit to find a job because that's how it usually works. And after she finds a job, her first like her offer letter says that she's going to be earning a salary of around $97,000. So if you just look at the kind of differences in the earning potential, if she just stayed back in India and she went with her promotions, her maximum earning potential in 2025 would be around maybe 10,000. If she did really well, maybe $20,000. And now if you compare that to the $97,000 job offer that she got when she decided to come to the US, you can see like a huge difference in that. It's almost, I think, a $70,000 difference. And that $70,000 is pretty much the money that she kind of spent on her education. When you look at the costs here, we said 55,000 for tuition and everything. But if you include living expenses, all those other things, it may go up to like 65, 70,000. So that's the difference of taking that loan versus not taking the loan. You actually only see the full earning potential that you'll get a few years after. You can't compare it in the first year because that's pretty much the break-even cost in 2025. But if you do the same comparison in 2030, she would have earned probably 10 times the salary she was making in India in those 10 years or like 5 years or whatever. So that's where you actually see the value add and the return of investment that you did, where you put in, I think, around $50,000 to get your education. And once you get that, your earning potential actually goes up 10x. So if you look at that, the return on investment is pretty significant, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to share this example with you guys to kind of help you guys kind of get to make a better decision about the choices you guys are making. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me, and I'm going to stop sharing now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ron. And then the meat of today's presentation, our application walkthrough. Over to you, Sir Revere. It's going to be great.
Sure, just give me a moment. Okay, so our application journey starts with few basic details for every applicant we need to go through. Starting with the eligibility check. So every applicant, when you want to apply for MPOWER loan, all you need to do is simply log into our website and click the eligibility check eligibility option. There will be a couple of questions that would be asked to you regarding your personal details like your email, your name, your phone number, and which university you are going in, what's your major. These basic informations are being asked for your eligibility check to consider whether you would be able to apply for MPOWER loan. And starting with after the eligibility and basic information, like what has been your qualification, your background history, like how many years of experience you have, if you have given any exams, all these details would be asked. And then coming to the fourth section, which would be related to the financial information, like when you are going to US, like what would be your tuition requirements, your living cost, all these informations would be asked. And the second last step is to provide your valid ID and verification documents so that we can verify the same that the person applying for this loan application is exactly the same, and then submit the loan application. So these are basic steps what you would need to go through while starting the application. Now I'll walk through with the step by step how to check the eligibility and what things you would need to put in while submitting the application. So once you have mentioned your name, so we would be welcoming with you. So you would be able to see your name on every page, welcoming you with the required details. So the first thing is that what brings you to MPOWER? So we would be asking you regarding your current status of understanding about your program, whether you are already been enrolled, are you planning to study, and are you an existing student? So all these informations would be asked from your end, and I would recommend to provide, so for example, if you are not in US right now and you are planning to take admission, but you have simply applied but have not been accepted, then you would need to go to the second option, that I have applied to a school but not have been accepted. Now, if you are an existing student and already in US or already started your program, so you would be need to select the fourth option, which is I'm currently enrolled at a school. And the last option that you see here is about being a transfer student. So we also get a lot of application where applicants wants to switch their university, whether it's from their home country to coming to US or US to US. So you would need to select the last option here, which would be yes, currently enrolled at a school, and I'm a transfer to another school. So these basic informations you would need to put as per your required details available. Then the second step is to provide what is your expected graduation date. Now, it is important for us to understand when you would be able to complete your program. So as one of our eligibility is that your program should be within 2 years of graduation. So it does not mean that your program, we can only support masters. So even if you are a bachelor student, But if you are in your last 2 years of your program, you can definitely apply for MPOWER loan. So depending on your program and how long is the duration, it can be 1 year, it can be 1 semester, or it can be 1.5 years. So depending on that, you would need to provide us your expected graduation date here. Then at the right side, you can see that we are asking you about the program you are enrolled in. Is it a master's, it's an MBA, it's a bachelor's, or it's an associate? So depending on your program that you're shortlisted to go ahead and continue with, you would need to select one of the available options here. Now, if you are an existing student, then we would be asking you about your current GPA. So you would need to mention your GPA that you are at the current school you are already enrolled with. And if you are a first timer, then you won't be able to see these options anyway regarding mentioning your GPA. But if you are an existing student, we would like to know how has been your academic performance and what's your GPA at this stage. Now, the second point here is providing another basic details, your legal first name and your last name. So you would need to provide your details here for us to verify the same under the eligibility check. After this, this also is one of a very important section where you need to mention your citizenship country and then provide us your permanent address. Now, when we select citizenship country, it would be always your home country. But if you are a dual citizenship, then you would need to select the citizenship that you currently reside in, and you would like to use that as your permanent address. So even if you are having any dual citizenship, you can select the citizenship that you are currently residing. Otherwise, your home country would be selected here. So for example, if I'm coming from India, I would be required to mention here as my passport country would be India, and my permanent address would be here as my Indian address. So your home country address will always be your permanent address if you are not a dual citizen. So you would need to place your mobile number. We appreciate to provide us your current active number where we can reach you out and provide you updates regarding your application on time-to-time basis. So do remember, if you have alternative numbers or more than 2 numbers, please provide us all those informations that really help us to connect you on time. And if your number is also available on WhatsApp, then you can click it on yes to get updates on WhatsApp as well. Okay, moving to the next step, asking about your immigration status. So if you are an international student, definitely you would need to select here as non-citizen of, that means that you are an international student, not a US resident. And if you are an DACA applicant or asylum seeker or any of this profile that is mentioned here, then you would need to mention that and select that particular profile. So that's what I said. If you are a permanent resident of United States, but you are being an international person, you are your home country can be Nigeria, and you are currently residing in US and you have received the permanent residentship. So you would need to select the right profile here in order us to validate the same. Then if you already have your visa for US, then you would need to select yes as an option and the category of the visa you currently have. It can be F1, it can be H1B. So we support a lot of visa categories. It does not need to be just F1 because students, people can apply and study even having H1B as a visa category. So you can select all other options in the available profiles here. And if you do not have your visa right now and you are first time applying for US schools, then you would need to select no here, and then the type of visa category would not be asked. Okay, moving to the next step, then this is the tab where you would need to provide us your school and employment information, which is also one of the very important section of this application. So after selecting the degree type, then you would need to select your major here. So I would recommend to select the nearest available option as per your program you are going in. So if you are doing computer science, data analytics, so the next best option, what you have here from the drop down, I would appreciate to select that because we have thousands of courses there and not everyone would be listed here. So as per your nearest selection available, I would recommend to select that. Then are you getting a dual degree or dual major? So if you are doing a dual degree and if you have dual major, then you would need to select yes. And then we would be asking you the details about your dual degree, which degree you are selecting as your second major. But if it is not, then you can simply select no here. Sorry, yeah. And the second option after this is if your program is a STEM designated program or not. So if you are doing any of the program which is belonging to science, technology, engineering, and math, and also it also depends about your university. So if your university on your admission letter or anywhere in the communication had confirmed you that you have a STEM degree or you are doing a STEM degree right now, so you would need to select yes here. Now, this is one of the very vital information because this really helps us to check all the details and validate your application in a better manner. So kindly be sure about which program you are in and whether it is a STEM degree or not, checking the CIP code linked with your program. You can also look into that to identify whether it comes under a STEM designated degree or not. Okay, so after which you would need to select whether you are going to be a full-time student or you are going to do a part-time course or half-time course. After that, if you are an existing student, then again, we would be asking you about your cumulative GPA here. And if you have selected that you are first-timer, then this option would not be there. And then we would be asking you about whether you are doing your program on campus, is it online, or is it a hybrid program? So you would need to provide us the relevant details regarding the same, as it is also one of the eligibility criteria that the student needs to be there in US for at least one semester for getting an MPOWER loan. So look into these details and provide the relevant options available from here. After this, we would be asking you about your term, which semester or which year you are in. So as I said, that if you are a bachelor student, do not worry, but we can still support you if you are in your last 2 years of the program. So depending on your program length, if it is a 5-year program or it's a 4-year program, you would need to provide us the relevant information on it. So for example, if I have a 4-year program and currently I have just completed my 2nd year and I have just entered in my 3rd year. So here I would be selecting as 2nd year graduate, and that would be the right option selection to be made here. And then again, because you are an existing student here, we would be asking you to provide your GPA once more. But if you have selected 1st year graduate, then this option again will not be asked. Okay, now most of the students where if you are coming from a non-English speaking country, you would be required to provide language tests. So if your university has waived that, so you do have the option to select as a waiver. Otherwise, you can select any one of the exams that you have given, whether it's TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, you can mention that. Then we also have standardized tests criteria here. So if you have given any exam like GRE, GMAT, CSAT, AMSAT, so you can provide your scores here for us to determine your application in a better way and identify how much have you scored, what it can be an average score, it can be a high score, depending on what have you been able to get. But one more thing here is that you would also need to provide relevant proofs for the same. So do remember that whatever exams or details you are mentioning here, we would be asking a relevant document to verify the same with the scores that you have mentioned. So you can select any of these. And if you have not given any exams or neither any language tests or was it waived, then you can select the option as waived and continue towards your application. Okay. Now, coming to your employment information, so we would be asking you that have you been currently employed or have you been employed in past? Do you have any working experience? This really helps us to understand how many years of experience you are bringing on the table in order to determine your application. So any relevant experience experience that you have, I would request you to please mention it in your application. It can be a 1-year experience, can be a 4-year experience, depending on how much experience you bring on the table. And so if you are currently employed, you are actually working right now, then you would need to select the currently employed option, and we would be asking you your last pay slips to verify the same regarding it. And if you are not currently employed, but you have been employed in past, then you can provide us the number of year experience you have. And even if you have no employment history, that is absolutely perfect. We won't be, it's absolutely fine. So if you do not have any experience in past, it's good. You can select the third option and continue. Now, let's come and talk about some numbers right now. So as an international student, one of the most important factor for you is to identify your financial details, right? Because you would be going to a new country, and you would be understanding that apart from tuition, there will be your living cost. So to find out how much is going to be your cost of tuition along with your expenses is the most crucial part here. So in the sections that are listed here, we would be asking you all the major categories of the costs that a student incurs while he is planning to go abroad or coming to US for studies. So starting with your first, which is your tuition cost, right? So what is the cost of your tuition? So if your program is 2 years, 1 year, 4 year, depending on the length of the program, what is going to be a total tuition cost? But you don't have to worry about doing all the mathematics there. If you are aware about your 1-year tuition, that is even enough. So all you need to do here is to provide us the tuition cost details as per 1 academic year. So you would need to mention on the first category what is going to be a tuition. And if you are not aware about it, I would recommend to please reach out your academic counselor or financial aid office to find out more details about what is going to be your per semester tuition or an academic year tuition to fill on the details correctly. Then you can estimate your cost of living depending on your requirements. Somebody wants to stay near to this university, somebody wants to stay long on a distance. So cost of living will always be, it cannot be fixed. So depending on how much is your requirement, you would need to provide us the closest details about your cost of living here. Then if you have any additional costs like books and supplies that you would like to mention here, you can mention the details of it. And the last but not the least, if you have any health insurance that you would need to purchase, you can also mention that cost in this category. So once you have mentioned the cost for 1 academic year, the system will automatically calculate the duration of your program and will give you the total financial plan after this. So here, as you can see, the total My Financial Plan will give you the total tuition cost that is required for your the program. And then we would be asking you regarding if you have any funding sources. So it is very important for a student. Apart from MPOWER loan, for example, as you are well aware that we can only assist you for a maximum loan amount of $100,000 for 1 academic year. And if you are applying for 1 semester, then our maximum loan limit is $50,000 per semester. So if you have a requirement higher than that, then definitely you should be able to provide some personal funding or additional sources to meet the gap. So what you see right now on the screen is a good example of the same. So if you see in this case, the applicant was able to mention that he has total additional funding sources of almost $42,000, and his total tuition cost and the requirement is $60,000. So here, if you see, the gap is just $18,000. So that makes us very clear about the requirement you have. So you can request $18,000 or even more if you want to. So we are very flexible on those terms. But yes, it is very important to understand your financial details, and nothing to worry as well if you have miscalculated any details here and you want to make any changes. You can simply click the button go back and make the amendments and come back after the changes have been made. So these are the few details that you need to understand regarding the financial information. Going forward, once you have submitted us all the relevant details in the previous tabs, the last is providing your passport. So for international student, we highly recommend that you provide your passport if available. And in case if you do not have your passport available, then any national ID that provides your date of birth, your name, your valid photo on it, visible to us along with the validity of the document. We appreciate you to provide us that relevant document here in case if you do not have the passport available. For any permanent resident or for US citizens, you can provide us your any official government ID or driving license that will also be considered as a valid ID and continue with your application. Okay, moving forward. Once all these details are being provided, we would be notifying you regarding your application status, whether it's been submitted or you have received any conditional offer here. So once it gets submitted and you have completed all these steps, your relationship manager would be reaching out to you within 5 to 7 working days here in order to update you regarding the further process of the application. So you can always reach out to us for finding out more details regarding application. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that walkthrough. And I see we have about 15 minutes left, which is great for audience questions. So give me a moment. Let me just give a quick look and see what some of the most common questions are. Ooh, yeah, this is a good one. So let's start. I think, Ron, maybe I'm going to give this one to you. We have a lot of questions today about when's the earliest you can technically apply for the loan and when's the latest you can technically apply for the loan. So that's question one. Question two is what is ideal in the best case scenario for us. So 2 questions, over to you.
Got it. So first question was, when is the earliest you can start? You can start an application at any time in the prior 12 months from your course starting date. So if your course is starting in August 2023, you can technically start your application in August 2022. Or for this year, say your course is starting in August 2024, you can apply in August 2023. But the ideal time for you to start your application would be once you have an admission letter, because that's when you'll actually get your decisions and everything. You can start your application, but we'll still be waiting until we receive that admission letter from you. So that's one of the main things. And the second question, when is the latest you can do your application? You can pretty much do your application till the last day before you graduate. I'm assuming you don't need funds at that point, but technically you can still apply on that date. Actually, that's not right. You can even apply after that.
Right, it's 6 months,
Yeah.
Ron. You can apply up to 6 months after you graduate.
Exactly. You can apply up to 6 months after you graduate as long as you have a fee balance in that school. So those are the two. You can start 12 months before your program starts, and you can also start your application 6 months after you graduate. So there's like a long range from when you can do your application. Ideal time, again, like I said, once you have an admission letter or something that tells us what program you're studying and that you're accepted into that program, that would be the ideal time to start your application.
So Ron, I have another popular question that's I think best suited for you. Many people want to know how to get their application approved as fast as possible. And then I have a question about support letters. I might pose to the group after that.
Sure, sounds good. So how to get your application approved faster? So it's pretty simple. What we do in underwriting is just to kind of verify the information that you guys entered on the application with the documents that you guys provide to support that application. As long as all the information in the documents provided match all the answers that you entered in your application will move through very, very smoothly, and you'll get a decision pretty quickly there. The times where it may take longer if there's some mismatch, especially I've seen this happen a lot for addresses, program start date, your program graduation date, all these things you can make. It's very easy to make these mistakes because I know you have to select that date, but if you don't look at the year may be off by 1 year, and then there'll be a lot of back and forth to like confirm, did you actually mean that or did you make a mistake? So those are the kinds of reasons why your applications get delayed. But to keep the answer short, just make sure all the documents that you upload match the information that you entered, and your application should move through without any complications.
Fantastic. And Suryaveer, let's say someone actually made a mistake. What's the best way for them to address this mistake? And does it change depending on the mistake?
Yeah, absolutely. So nothing to worry about if you have submitted your application and there are certain errors that you would like to rectify. All you need to do is send us an email confirming the errors, or you can also reach us out on our helpline numbers or reach out your relationship manager regarding any amendments you want to make. So before we make any loan decision, if you reach out to us on timely, so I would appreciate that if you have encountered the error and you are aware about it, please reach out to us within the 5 working days of your application being submitted so that we can take the amendments into consideration and then proceed ahead with the review after the changes have been made.
Fantastic. And so we have a variety of questions about support letters and visas. So just to be helpful, maybe Ron, you can start, maybe everyone can hop in here, but can you kind of walk through the visa support letter and how it fits into the MPOWER process? As in, when do you get the support letter and sort of how does that fit in? So yeah, cool.
Sure. So I want to rephrase this by saying this support letter concept is more for the US schools and not for Canada. So it's more likely that you need that for a US school. So the way it works is once you apply for a loan from MPOWER, say you're approved, everything goes through. As soon as you get approved, that's when you receive your visa support letter. And what you actually do with that support letter is you show that support letter to your school and they will provide an I-20 that you can again submit to MPOWER, and that's when you get your final loan documents. But I also want to talk about the second part of that, why the I-20 is very important, because that's the main document that you have to show at a visa interview or any consular interview. That's the document that they ask for, or even when you're traveling to the US, the most important document is your passport and your I-20. So that's how the I-20 comes and that's how you get it. And that's why it's pretty important and how it works in the MPOWER process. So first you apply for an MPOWER loan, you get the loan approved. As soon as your loan is approved, you'll receive an I-20. You can show that I-20 to your school to receive, you get the support letter from MPOWER. You show the support letter to your school, and that's when they give you the I-20. Once you get your I-20, that's what you show the visa consular officer to get your visa. And once you have that, when you actually fly to the US at the border, they also ask you for your passport, for your visa, and they also ask you for your I-20. So that I-20 is a pretty important document. And once you have the I-20, the support letter is pretty much not useful at all because no one asks for it once you have the I-20. The I-20 supersedes your support letter once you get it. If anyone else has anything to add to this, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So the I-20 is really one of the important documents that you would be applying for your visa as well. So when you have received, let's just say you have been approved for MPOWER loan and you receive your support letter regarding the confirmation of it, you would need to use it to show to your international student office in order to provide the funding proofs of the I-20 in order to match the requirement of your tuition requirements, basically. So also it's very important for you to understand here is that, let's just say on your I-20, the total tuition requirement mentioned by the university is around $75,000, and the loan approval letter or the support letter that you have received from MPOWER is of $60,000, then you would need to also add on the additional funding that is required in order to actually get your I-20. So just providing MPOWER support letters sometimes may not be enough. So please be aware about the total financial requirements placed by your university and then provide all the relevant funding documents in order to get your I-20 on time.
Fantastic. Thank you both. So Silver, people want to know what the loan can be used for, and I know that may differ between the US and Canada. Do you mind enlightening us?
Sure. So you can use our loan to pay for your tuition at any of our 400 plus eligible schools. And if you are attending schools in the US, you can also use the funds to cover your living expenses.
Cool. That is a very straightforward answer. I recommend everyone check with their school specifically that what the loan can be used for isn't determined by MPOWER. It's actually determined by your program. And so it's best to confirm with your school how they are, what they're allowed to do. versus coming to MPOWER first. So highly recommend checking with your school to make sure that works. And we are in the last 5 minutes. So we're going to slowly wrap up. If your question hasn't been answered yet, we'll probably get to a lot more, but I recommend providing your email address and question in the Q&A so we can get back to you after this. And then I think we have time for one more popular question before we close up. So Surya, a lot of people want to apply to a lot of schools. I get it. I applied to a lot of schools when I went to school. How do they do that in the application? How should that be addressed in the application if the applicant applied to a lot of schools or plans to?
So yeah, absolutely. We do consider any number of applications the student want to apply for in different universities. So if you are not sure right now in terms of which university you would like to finalize, you can start a number of application with us. But one thing to understand here is that MPOWER will only be able to provide you the loan approval for one particular university for that particular loan term you have selected. So you would need to, in the end, finalize the decision once you have received your admission letter or which university has given you the best suited response. Depending on your choices, you would need to give us the final conclusion on which application you would consider in order to go ahead. But yes, you can actually submit 4 to 5 or a number of different universities application in order to check your eligibility and criteria with MPOWER.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I have 2 favorite questions I always like ending our live sessions with, and each of our panelists are going to give you some amazing advice. So the first question is, why is MPOWER the #1 loan or company for international students? And it's just pick your favorite, guys. And then the second question is, what's your one piece of advice for our future or current international students for everyone? So I'm going to start with Silver. Hello, Silver.
Cool. Every time I come join this webinar, I answer the same question. I'm trying to think that is there any different answers I can give at this webinar for the audience here.
Maybe they haven't seen you in every webinar.
I will steal Claire's answer from last webinar. Why MPOWER is the best for everyone. For me, I think it's the people here that I know that I'm actually very confident that the people who work here really cares about giving out support to international students. And we are here to trying to do whatever we can to help you succeed in your study and your career, because we will only succeed if you succeed. And what's the second question? The one tips for customers? One tips is that take advantage of those fantastic programs that I just mentioned at the beginning of this webinar. We have scholarships for you. We have referral programs for you. Both you and your friend can earn cash rewards if you refer them to MPOWER. And we have a Path to Success career development program offer you, and it's free for all the customers that have a loan with MPOWER. Yep, take advantage of them all. It's really good.
Thank you, Silver. Surya, I'm going to turn it over to you. And I can repeat the questions. Why is MPOWER awesome? Your #1 favorite reason, and what's your piece of advice for our future international students?
Yeah, so MPOWER is actually awesome because we value your application, we value your emotion for what you are trying to do and like what you want to achieve, your dreams. So we definitely consider that. And as you are aware that we don't take any collateral, co-signer, and we completely give decision on the basis of your application details that you have provided. So that makes us the best because we understand that what you are looking for, and we will always try to help you. One tip of advice would be aware about your financial requirements. And while submitting the application, because we also want to go ahead and decision your application as soon as possible. So do provide us all the relevant documents that you have mentioned in your application on time, so that we can also go ahead and give the decision and provide you a loan decision on time as well.
Thank you so much. And Ron, do I need to repeat the questions for you?
No, I think I'm good. So I think both of them covered most of the points that I was going to cover. So I'm going to keep the first answer a little more customer focused. So it should really help you guys out. Why MPOWER is the best company? One simple answer would be we have a fixed interest rate product, which no one else on the market has that. So from your perspective, that's the best reason you can choose MPOWER. No one else is offering it on the market. So no brainer to choose a company where you know what your payments are going to be. That's one. The second question was my piece of advice. I think I give this advice to pretty much on all the webinars. So yeah, my piece of advice is going to be very open when you come to the US. Try to experience a lot of new experiences here. Network a lot. Don't just network in your own college. Network with people from different colleges. By that I mean if you're doing business, don't only stay with the business group. Also interact with the computer science majors, the physics majors, the arts history majors. Pretty much everyone try to do that. It'll really help you out in your future. So yeah, my piece of advice, be open to new experiences and network a lot with people from different departments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. And thank you, panelists, for helping us with the session today and sharing your wisdom with our audience. As promised, we will be sending out the deck and a recording, so you can re-listen to any part that you may have missed. And then we'll leave this open for a minute or two afterwards. So if you haven't submitted your email address, we can get back to you. Now is definitely the time. We also send out a feedback survey after this. We read every response. It helps us make these better. So please fill it out. Let us know what you liked, what worked, what didn't work, and most importantly, what future sessions should we do so we can be helpful to you. We really want to support our students. So thanks again. Great to have you all here.